of SXM.
Correct.
First of all, SMART 2019, how would you go about describing it?
I must say this is probably, probably one of the most, if not the most successful Smart we ever had. And I'm not saying it, I'm just saying, sharing with you the response from the people that we have spoken to and the participants, the energy, the activities that they participated. It's different to other years. They're gotten around the island. They've seen really a lot of how the island has recovered, how we're doing, what's new on the island, and I think the feedback has been, really, really amazing. And I gotta take my hat off to, the both associations, the hotel associations, both tourist boards, and both governments that actually, put the funding on getting this, this together. And I also to our team at SHPA that was worked, tirelessly for months in putting such a successful event. So I mean, all the credit, really goes to them for doing such a magnificent event. And we also thank all the sponsors and all the places that have helped making this. Like for example, yesterday we had an event at the village there in Orient Beach, and 15 restaurants participated that they gave completely complimentary dinners, out there. This is unheard of in St. Martin, of restaurants participating to that kind of level, really to promote the destination. And, so it's been not an MOU, it's really been a working MOU, actually in action, the cooperation with both sides of the island. Because at the end of the story, that's what we're one island. So when somebody books to come to St. Martin, they're coming to one island. And that's, it fills my heart with joy seeing actually this happening for once,
Taking into consideration the success of SMART, you had a participation of 175 companies coming from North Central America and the Caribbean region, including Europe. Over 400 persons took part. Did you truly believe that SMART would have produced the success that it did?
Not only I know for sure it's going to produce, and I'm also the general manager of two properties, Oyster Bay Beach Resort and Coral Beach Club, and I know that this is going to produce numbers. But the way I tell you one thing, I tell you the other one, which is all the success of SMART means nothing unless we get our airport fixed and fixed promptly. Because it's like having a restaurant. If you only have 30 seats and you have 300 people on the outside, you're still going to serve 30 seats. And this is the situation that I'm very afraid that it's going to happen November going forward. We have a very successful event that is going to turn into a lot of people, and our airport cannot handle it. So I implore all the forces, government, World Bank, airport board, airport management, everybody, to really truly concentrate in getting our airport going, because otherwise this is a waste of time if we don't get that airport going.
Well, this is my first SMART trade show, and I found that it was absolutely wonderful experience. I'm very pleased because I was able to interact with many people, and the interest that was shown in Montserrat was just incredible. So I am actually overwhelmed at the response. I'm very pleased.
Now, based on the information that was gathered here at SMART 2019, how do you intend to imply this in Montserrat?
Well, just based on the response of the other participants, people who are interested in coming to Montserrat, I can say that this has been incredible in terms of the impact on Montserrat, because we can see lots of visitors to Montserrat as a result of this SMART trade show. So the impact is going to be fantastic.
This is the first time Montserrat is taking part in this wonderful venture. And do we foresee you continue your participation in the near future?
Absolutely. I intend to come back. Every time there's a SMART, I will be here. Because it's worth doing. Just the response to Montserrat. See, what has happened is that people are not aware of Montserrat. I like to say that Montserrat is one tiny island with two absolutely different We have one world that is the volcano, the volcanic side of Montserrat. Then we have another world that is like St. Martin, just an ordinary, wonderful Caribbean country. And the response, being able to share that with the participants is what I found the most interesting part of this activity.
Why did it take you to be so long? I mean, after all, SMART has been hosted 15 years now. Why only now you're participating?
Well, that's an interesting question. We're a new tour company. And because we're a new tour company, we are looking at all opportunities, and that is one of the reasons why this is my first SMART participation. Because we are new to the whole tourism activity, business. So that's why we thought we should come, just to understand and to share our country. That's the reason why I'm here only now, is because I'm new.
It's been said that behind every door, possibility awaits. How much possibility depends on which door you open first. Every day, we help our customers discover the possibilities in their lives. It all starts with a conversation. Scotiabank. Discover what's possible.
GEBE has been faithfully serving the communities of St. Martin, powering your home and our economy. Come rain or shine, our qualified team of professionals are working hard 24 hours a day to provide you and your family with safe, reliable electricity and water. We use the latest technologies and test our products daily to maintain the highest international standards. Our friendly staff is always there to assist you, whether in person, over the phone, or online. We are committed to constantly improving our products and services, making them more efficient, effective, and environmentally friendly to serve you better today and our next generation of clients tomorrow. GEBE, powering a brighter future.
Our friend Megawati is here with tips to save you energy. 1. Turn your airco temperature up. 2. Use a ceiling fan instead. 3. Buy energy-saving products. Save some green with NVGEBE.
Mr. Johnson, recently there was some inconsistency with finance with the Carnival Foundation, and you were dissatisfied, Minister Johnson. Did you clear up this inconsistency?
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Excellent question. You know, last week when the news broke by surprise, I'm sure to some, but no surprise to others, that indeed the SCDF, the St. Martin Carnival Development Foundation, utilizing the contributions of the government of St. Martin and ultimately every single taxpayer in St. Martin, should do its onus in making sure that there is audited financial records submitted to government. The SCDF, of course, and what I would consider an unfortunate emotional response, forgot that a decree was signed as part of the agreements between the government of St. Martin and SCDF. That decree clearly outlines that as a minister, I am capable of going back into any financial records and requesting such from the foundation. So that is definitely something that will be ongoing. I'm sure the SCDF will indicate whether they can financially contribute or not to an audit. If they are unable to do so, I'm sure the government of St. Martin will assist and provide, for instance, that support once again to the SCDF to provide clarity to the people of St. Martin to ensure that all books, all years are covered. You know, even Mr. Brown, when I was president of the SCDF, some may have forgotten, but in 2011 and 2012, the books of the SCDF was audited by PricewaterhouseCoopers during my presidency. So that is the same sort of transparent accountability effort that I hope that the SCDF will wholeheartedly embrace in its zeal to plan Carnival 2020. And of course, when we look at planning ahead, it's best to start now with making sure that the ship is in order and that the people of St. Martin know where exactly the funds are and where it has gone for all the years that have been requested, and when the fiscal year 2019 closes, that it also be inclusive for when the time is right. So that is an ongoing process. The Council of Ministers and I in particular will be sending a communique to request a formal meeting with the SCDF, with them getting the understanding that the government of St. Martin remains committed to being responsible and leading the charge in making sure that the people's money is spent adequately.
Thank you, Minister Johnson. We now move on to the second round of questions. Stephen Cyrillian, you have the floor.
Thanks again, Ms. Roach. If I may, the Minister of VSA. The Mental Health Foundation recently stated that there is an urgent need for psychiatrists. They went as far as saying that government is not supporting them in employing a psychiatrist. I'm sure this has been brought to your attention.
Indeed, we've had a number of conversations with the director of the Mental Health Foundation, and we've pointed out to them the responsibility for them to find doctors who fit the legal requirements. That is their responsibility. We've done everything we can to help them to facilitate the process, but fact is that they are having challenges finding specialists that fit the legal requirements, right? And I've said that we're willing to do everything we can to assist them. As a matter of fact, we've reached out even to a number of our contacts to try and help them to source possible medical professionals for them to engage in. So we're doing everything we can to facilitate them, but again have pointed out that the responsibility to find them, that is their responsibility, and we've done everything we can to facilitate. As soon as they present applications for specialists, we are reviewing them as quickly as possible, giving them feedback as quickly as possible. We're doing everything we can to facilitate them getting specialists. We recognize the need for the foundation, and we recognize the need for the community.
Hey ma, how you doing? You busy?
I hear, just paying some bills, taking care of business, you know what it is?
I know, you're doing your online banking.
I don't have to stand in those long lines to pay bills. I can transfer when I want. I can check my account wherever. It's like the bank open 24/7. I even here checking the statement right now as we're talking. How's Miami?
Well, that's why I'm calling. I'm finishing up a few songs now, but I'm afraid that studio time might be more than I thought. And I was wondering if I could get some help with some funds, and I could pay you back as soon as I get back to St. Martin.
Let me check my account. How much you need?
I think 500 should be enough.
I can transfer it to you while online. Direct from me to you. No problem.
Great. Thank you so much, Ma. I'll get online with Viv now.
Alright, darling. You know who you're for? I need to know who you're for.
Contact WIB today for your complete personal online banking experience. Available for all mobile devices. The Wynwood Islands Bank, now your online banking partner in progress.
my Secretary General, he will respond to the remainder of the questions and answers posed by the respective MPs. Mr. Chairman, you were the first to ask some questions. Does the Ministry of TIAT concur with the CEO, Mr. Mingo, when he said preclearance is not a priority? What is my stance? Since I've taken the oath of office, I have made it a priority, as it's clearly stated in our governing program. Even before and after the remarks of the CEO, I publicly stated in countless media reports the need to complete U.S. preclearance as part of the overall vision needed for the restoration of the airport. The next question that was posed by your person, Mr. Chairman, what is the sentiments towards preclearance from the World Bank or the ministries related therein? Is the trust fund monies going towards preclearance? No, the trust fund money is not going towards U.S. preclearance. However, PGIAH is in discussions with private parties for possible capital. I have received no formal or otherwise, so informal, sentiment of the World Bank or any government related within the kingdom on their sentiment for or against U.S. preclearance. Did the preclearance form part of the U.S. bondholders meeting? No, it did not, as the main focus of the meeting was the overall financing for the airport. Did the Dutch government meet without the airport or the government being present? I'm unaware of such a meeting, but will surely seek clarity in that regard. MP Emmanuel asked, I would like for the minister to concretely answer a question. Why was the former director of the airport not present for the U.S. preclearance or whatever meeting with the bondholders in New York, seeing that she was responsible back then? Allow me to repeat, I have repeatedly said that I have no issues with Ms. LaBeca being a part of any discussions or working visits. In particular to the U.S. working visit to New York, the delegation was headed due to the financial nature of the meeting by the Minister of Finance. And the last question posed was by MP Duran. Will there be a vacancy put out for the CFO for a local to apply? That is an operational issue of the airport, and as shareholder rep of PGIAH, PGIAE is currently finalizing the employment process for a CFO. So at this time now I turn the floor over to the Secretary General of the Ministry of TIAT to handle the remaining questions and answers.
Thank you, Minister. Mr. De Wever, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. With respect to MP, yourself, MP Bryson, questions, the cost of the U.S. preclearance, has the Ministry conducted a cost-benefit analysis? As I indicated, the cost is mainly dependent upon the size of the operations, the speed in which we would like to handle passengers, how fast, because that determines how many personnel you would need, and that can then help with the amount of passengers, how fast they get processed, and a number of other factors that the negotiations are presently undergoing. However, as I indicated as well, the central bank did a report of the impact of U.S. preclearance, and that report is available. I will highlight some of the points that were brought forward, which will address your specific issue as well too, MP. The American workers was the other question. American workers that will have to work in some manner, how many will work, who will pay, and will they be paying local taxes? This is part of the intense part of the, in particular part of the current negotiations that are ongoing, but this can certainly be discussed behind closed doors and not in a public session, but it's still in negotiation phase as well. Can you give a brief description of why preclearance is good, all about, as well as if it will be applied to general aviation? General aviation is certainly included in this process, especially when we consider that the airport and the hub function. This will have significant benefit for the passengers that will be going through our airport that are coming from the other islands such as Simbats, Sabre, Statia, Anguilla, that will be of U.S. preclearance will certainly be of significant benefit to them, because once they reach clear, when they reach to the U.S., they can easily go back and fly back to different airports, as a matter of fact, and not just like the gateways. So that will certainly be of a benefit and interest to the airport as well as the country to do U.S. preclearance. with general aviation, in the area of general aviation. MP Manuel asks, is the Netherlands trying to also the discussions with the USP clearance and what is their status with the Netherlands negotiations? Obviously, we won't be able to discuss that particular issue because that is discussions and negotiations between the Netherlands and St. Martin, so we won't be able to comment on that. Related to the question that you asked previously as well, MP Bryson, and I just merged it somewhat with the question of MP Emmanuel, the advantages for the economy and taxi drivers. When we look at the report from the central bank, there they talked about a number of pros and cons as well as some recommendations, findings. And just to highlight the main headlines of that report, certainly the pros are improved security and strengthened relations such as early threat detection and information sharing, improved travel experience for passengers such as direct travel to a domestic U.S. airport, improve operations for carriers and airports, such as reduced aircraft turnaround times, resulting in reduced minimum connection times at destination airports, opportunities for airlines to make more efficient use of the hub airports, which may result in more flexible hub-spoke airport schedules, opportunities to enhance airlift to domestic airports, and opportunities to attract low-cost carriers who may operate predominantly from domestic airports. Opportunities so that will obviously increase the ability for us to be able to get more flights to, and obviously more passengers and more people, visitors to the island, which will obviously have the economic spin-off and benefits to the country in terms of the jobs that would be offered to the taxi drivers.
Hello, St. Martin. My name is Jose Helaga and I play basketball. I have organized basketball events in St. Martin. Sport matters to me because it makes everybody come together in unity. So I challenge the businesses community to step up for sports and help us rebuild and repair our facility. I'm also asking the community to nominate local businesses in your area to take on the challenge and step up for sport because sports matter. Check out the Department of Sports SXM Facebook page for more information. Hashtag Sport Matter, hashtag Are You In?
Chair, I want to start by really zeroing in on the methodology being used to decide whether lump sum or what the amounts should be for schools, because at the end of the day, Madam Chair, our concern have to be one thing. Our children need to be educated. The teachers and the schools have to be armed with what they require. And as far as I understand, the purpose of a subsidy is to fill in the gap between what a school can do on its own and what it can do to provide exactly this. That is literally the definition of subsidy. The subsidy is a gap filler. Madam Chair, in our legislation, as far as I have found, yes, you have MBAs and you have Landsbesluit and all of these things, but all of this is from the basis of one general ordinance that's called the subsidy ordinance. And when you look at the definition of the subsidy ordinance and how it defines a subsidy, it states that a subsidy is there to fill that gap. I'm paraphrasing a bit. I want to stress this because I have a concern where we are now looking at, because there is a decrease in enrollment, that now suddenly schools are going to get less. But the focus as to whether those institutions are able to fill the gap, in other words, cover their cost, seems to have gotten lost in all of this. So in order to figure this out, I try to get my hands on what does this ministeriële beschikking that the minister gives to schools, and how does this look? And what is the legal basis put together in all of this? And Madam Chair, I must say, I was extremely shocked to see how this is being done. Madam Chair, I have here with me a ministeriële beschikking from the December the 21st, 2018. This one was for the Foundation, Academic and Vocational Education. Madam Chair, I'll be honest with you, I'm a bit biased in the sense that I chose this one because we know the minister does several of these beskickings. But the St. Martin Academy has a special place in my heart because that is my alma mater. That is a place that helped form me to be the person that I am today. So I was interested to see, okay, let's use this school as an example and go down here. Madam Chair, First of all, it says in the elucidation to start, the considerations, that the lump sum is basically calculated based on landbesluit bekostigingsscholen. Now, my issue with this, Madam Chair, is that when I go to the subsidy ordinance, and I know everybody says, yeah, but the subsidy ordinance doesn't apply to schools. Madam Chair, the subsidy ordinance is defined as what describes the handling of subsidies. If there are other regulations that supplement that, like a landsbesluit, it has to be then based on the original subsidy, the subsidy ordinance. And Madam Chair, what is interesting to me is that the subsidy ordinance says that it should be based on the legal interpretation is that it should not be a ministerial beschikking. Why? It says a landsbesluit should be a country's decision to make these type of changes. In front of me, Madam Chair, I have a ministerial beschikking, and the first question I want to ask, what is the legal basis for a minister unilaterally making decisions like this that have far-reaching consequences on schools and on education in our country? Because I am not comfortable with this. And what is interesting, that it almost proves my point, the next point says dat de subsidie voor 2018-2019 wordt verstrekt in afwachting van de ratificatie van een landsbesluit bekostigen scholen. In other words, you are writing a ministeriële beschikking on the basis of a landsbesluit that doesn't even exist, that has not been ratified as yet. Madam Chair, is the minister speaking on behalf of the governor who has to ratify this?